Mark Carney prevent Canada from an extremely good downtime economic.
They've become completely unglued. Welcome back to Moose on Loose. My name's David. Today, we've got a liberal calling Pierre Poilievre the equivalent of, say, a guy we might know from North Korea or China. A leader that doesn't put the people first. No, really, you're going to be shocked what this guy says about Pierre Poilievre. We've got Mark Carney coming out with a grand speech about how America is so bad and we don't need them anymore. We got a ton of updates here. Let's jump into this. Starting this episode off, we got Melissa posting this. Wow, housing starts decline 6% in March. What an embarrassment after Carney promises to build at speed never seen before. Yeah, and that's what we're seeing here. We're going to build homes at speeds never seen in generations 6 months ago, and we have Canadian housing starts decline 6% in March. We've got this one here. The IMF, the International Monetary Fund, just released their annual percent change for real GDP growth, and Canada lags well behind the United States and even Ukraine. As she says, the EU is looking weak, and of course, this is why Canada wants to become a part of that. Look at this. We've got United States real GDP growth 2.3%, Ukraine 2%. This is a country that's been in conflict for 4 years, and Canada at 1.5%. This should tell you all we need to know. We've got this one here. Since Canada's society has crumbled to a low trust society, crime dogs have now been installed here in jewelry stores. This is a great idea because they don't really obey on the same rules of humanity. So if someone's being bad with hammers, hopefully the guard dog here will take a bite out of crime. Literally. Now, it isn't all doom and gloom. We have some good news. This story out of Hungary is just, it continues to get better and better. So this guy here ran and won for leadership in Hungary. He used to be underneath Viktor Orban. And so Peter Magyar here was able to get the left to support him. George Soros, Obama, Mark Carney, Justin Trudeau. They thought he was going to be the lefty guy. Turns out he's even more right-wing than Viktor Orban. Now he's saying that Orban, the guy who lost, who was in power, is likely going to be running for the European Commission to try to take over the spot of Ursula, who's that woke leader over there, is basically has all this power over the EU. They're playing some serious, as Tableshouse says, 8D chess, 4D chess, whatever you want to say. There's some serious strategy going on here to get Europe back. Very interesting developments. We've got this one here, as Mario pointing out. Marco Mendicino posted this on Facebook, but not on X. As soon as Carney got his majority, this is what they post. Calling Majority Monday last night with an amazing, very talented CTV news crew. Wow, Vasi Kapelos, Kathleen Monk, Scott Reed, all of them, they all seem so happy about Majority Monday. And while we're talking about CTV, we got Wayne Long on here. This is becoming embarrassing. As Mark Nixon pointing out, mainstream media is having Wayne Long pitching affordability to Canadians. At this point, they're just laughing in our faces. And look at this, they put him in front of a green screen and put a grocery store behind him. Like, this is embarrassing.
And I think it's incumbent on us as a government to act. I mean, as you know, we recently announced the groceries and essentials benefit that will put up to $1,400 in the pockets of working families this year.
This grocery essentials benefit, it's not for most Canadians. You can see you have to be making, was it $66,000 as a family of four to be able to get it? Less than $66,000, not more. So it's right down here, $66,841 or less if you have 2 kids and you're married. So family of 4. If you're making 66 grand in Canada today with a family of 4, good luck. Life is unlivable at that rate. Same thing with $56,000 for a single person. $56,000 in Canada today is a serious struggle because the Liberals just keep printing money and devaluing our dollars. They're making them worth less and less every day. Trudeau doubled the deficit, essentially devaluing our money in half, and Carney's doing the same thing. In the course of 14, 15 years, what would $100 will be worth $25, and Canadians won't even know why. They won't understand why. Everything just gets more and more expensive. Moving ahead, we got Mark Carney came out with this big 9-minute speech, basically saying that he's not getting a deal with Donald Trump. He's not even trying to get a deal. That's what he campaigned on, is the guy who could get a deal with Trump. Turns out he lied to us. He lied to everyone. He's not going to do it. He says we need to move on from our largest trading partner. Now, geographically, we don't have any other trading partners that are right next to us. Obviously, we can trade with Mexico, but we have to go through America. If we're going to be driving it, we put stuff on ships, well, then it costs a lot more. He knows this, but he doesn't care. He's rolling out a net zero agenda. What he's doing here is sinister. As Ryan Garrettson pointing out, wow, Carney just dropped an almost 10-minute video basically setting up Canadians with no deal with the US. What people need to understand, this is Carney's plan, not because of Trump. He's putting millions of jobs and countless businesses at risk to satisfy his agenda. People who rely on the US for trade to their livelihoods better wake up. It's you who are going to pay the price, not this guy. I think a lot of people who voted Liberal are going to gravely regret this 3 years from now.
We have to take care of ourselves because we can't rely on one foreign partner. We can't control the disruption coming from our neighbors. We can't bet our future on the hope that it will suddenly stop. But we can control what happens here. We can build a stronger country that can withstand disruptions from abroad. that creates good jobs here at home, that's a leader in this new world with a vast network of reliable allies. That's the Canada Strong plan we're putting into action. Its goals are ambitious: to catalyze $1 trillion in investment, to create one Canadian economy out of 13, to build new trade and energy corridors, and to double the size of our clean energy capacity.
Oh, that's right. Double the size of our clean energy capacity, because he's going to make direct money off of this. This should be against the law.
That's ambitious. But in a crisis, fortune favors the bold.
Now, fortune favors the prime minister. Could this guy love himself anymore? No, he couldn't. This guy's more egotistical than Justin Trudeau. Top trading partners. Yep. America, 435 billion. China, 21 billion. This is one. This is two. There's no way to replace America. Nor should we want to replace America as our top trading partner. He knows this, but he doesn't care. It's all about money for this guy. And with that, we've got buffoons like Aaron O'Toole coming out and saying, I really like this video. It's important to understand our history as we face an uncertain future. So Carney went to the history of 1812, blah, blah, blah. He has this little figurine here that Mike Myers gave him. Sellout Mike Myers moved to America. He's been down there for 20 years. He comes up, helps Carney with his propaganda campaign to ruin our country, and then goes back to America. Mike Myers is a complete sellout and a loser. And you got Aaron O'Toole agreeing with this stuff. Like, these guys are completely clueless. They have no idea what's going on. Then this guy had the audacity to say that most of the moose chart was fake. It was made up. It was incorrect. I thought this was an interesting share here. Melissa posting side by side, Carney denying that he has conflicts of interest, and then we've got Scott Bessent here of America saying that there's no such thing as a blind trust.
So what are they?
Look, Stephanie, I follow the rules of the ethics commissioner.
With Canadians not being aware of what potential conflicts of interest you
What
sought to
possible
avoid.
conflict would you have, Stephanie? Stephanie, I'm complying with the rules. I'm complying with the rules in advance.
There's no possible conflict of interest in your assets. It's very difficult to believe.
Look inside yourself, Rosemary.
A lot of people did very well in the stock market, I assume, and I assume that you probably were one of them, and good for you.
That would be an incorrect assumption, because I had to sell all my stocks to become Treasury Secretary.
You sold them all?
Had
Really?
to, yes.
But you have a blind trust, I would imagine.
There's no such thing as a blind trust.
There's no such thing as a blind trust, because Carney knows exactly what's in there, and they're not selling those stocks. They're just sitting there. And he had a list before he went in, and he still has that list today. And in contrast, we've got Pierre Poilievre here at the UFC. The Liberals are melting down over this. As you can see, he's absolutely loved there. A man of the people. Here's a shot of him and Dana White had a conversation. Jasmine also took a photo with him. Meanwhile, we've got Greg McEachran here spreading more rumors on the CBC.
Here's my question. What if Pierre Poilievre is the interim leader and no one's told him? Because everyone that is coming forward is talking about time and that they need the time. If they are unhappy with the situation in the House, we know what happened last fall. They sounded like they wanted to pull the plug on the government. They never really did. So if they're talking about time, maybe time is on his side, but maybe it's time is on the Conservative Party's side. You know, there was a question a few years ago. Is the Conservative Party the Harper Party or the Conservative Party? No other leader has been able to have success. And I hear what you're saying about the largest opposition, but, you know, horseshoes and hand grenades. And that is not what he was supposed to get across the finish line.
Yeah, so
This is so desperate and pathetic. The interim leader, they just brainstorm this stuff and have these guys like him just spew out this garbage on the CBC. And Canadians are eating this up because this is what they consume. Completely brainwashed. Imagine spending all your time speculating about the leader of the opposition while being totally silent on the unprecedented, unelected majority government obtained through shady deals. This is bravada. Yeah, I mean, the conflicts of interest, where are these guys at? No conflicts of interest. I still have the largest list of conflicts of interest on Mark Carney out of anyone in in Canada out of anyone in the world. And it should not be me. It should be all of these news agencies. It should be some investigative team, journalists. Somebody should have had this list. They should have had it faster than me. They should be putting it out. But instead, it's just some Joe Blow putting this out on the internet because our media is so unbelievably corrupt. I should note too, I'm summarizing it to a much simpler to read list that someone could just walk by at the grocery store and get it really easily without all the details. And while we're talking about the media attacking Pierre, as they always do, we've got Peter Mansbridge pushing this out. Almost 2 months ago, Pierre Poilievre seemed to turn a corner. Well, those days are gone, and this week, the attack dog politician seems to be back. Is this a fact, Mansbridge, or just propaganda? This is the very same Peter Mansbridge who officiated Kate Purchase's wedding. There's Mansbridge there, officiating it. Kate Purchase used to be Justin Trudeau's director of communications. You might want to think twice about trusting what Peter Mansbridge has to say. Moving ahead is probably one of the craziest clips I've seen in a long time, a very long time. We've got Alexandra Lavoie of Rebel News interviewing this guy, calling Pierre Poilievre a dictator. Seriously.
So I see that you're here for the Liberal Convention.
Yes.
And we are here to speak with the MPs about floor crossings. Why do you think there is so many floor crossings happening?
Look, this is an example of a Canadian culture. Canadian culture is they don't accept dictatorship. Any dictatorship in Canada will fall apart. What you see at the crossing floor, especially in Conservative, that's what the PP is paying the price of being dictatorship, and now this is what we're seeing the result.
You think that Pierre Poilievre is a dictator?
100%. 100%. He was.
100% he thinks Pierre Poilievre is a dictator in Canada. Now, let me just remind everyone out here, and I don't need to remind any of you, but Pierre Poilievre is not the leader of Canada. He is not the prime minister, thus he can't be a dictator because he's not ruling the country. Now, if this bonehead had more than 2 brain cells in his head, he might realize that. This is the dumbest thing I've seen in probably a year.
And he is still, and in the last chance, before I will call on all conservative. We Canadian, one thing's that the good about us, we all united when time comes to difficulties to Canadian, and that's what he didn't do that time. And now at least he could done for his party to don't allow the party to fall down, and he should have stopped down.
So wait a second, Pierre didn't unify people or the party and that makes him a dictator? But what is this guy saying?
Before his party, because even if conservative go down to completely to the 0 points, it's not good for the Liberal, it's not good for Canadian, so he should do the right things to resign.
Did you love the Justin Trudeau?
Hey, not just love. We Canadian owe Justin Trudeau the same thing a lot. He was the man with the principle and discipline, and Canadian was
discipline. Justin Trudeau doubled the deficit and he has discipline. And here he is praising Justin Trudeau, and we should be grateful to him.
Witness of how he stepped down and he respect Canadian. And I was on the journey at the time when Justin Trudeau started his leadership until on his last day. Wish him all the best anywhere he is. But hey, listen, Justin Trudeau did a lot to the Canadian. He brought especially Liberal back to United. He brought the Liberal to majority. And that was, again, the not proper game of politics that Poilievre played with when personal attack on him. That's what the result changed. But again, Canadian will show up with the strong leadership of Mark Carney, and now we can see that worldwide.
Saying that Justin Trudeau was an authoritarian leader.
Well, the history will speak for him, because right now he's still in the target just because the Liberal is so strong. But I believe and I have a faith on that. The history will speak for him back again. Right now, it's still some of these mega things that in the United States, some of them exist in Canada, but they will fail. They will fail.
I can't even understand half the crap that's coming out of his mouth. The heshti. I don't even know what he's saying. And the MAGA, we have Robert Fife just recently bringing up MAGA numerous times on different Cpac and somewhere else. He keeps bringing that up too. Clearly someone in Liberal HQ is pushing that one out, keeps calling MAGA, bring that up, tie Poilievre to MAGA, blah, blah, blah. All the same stuff.
Because you remember how he invoked the Emergencies Act and cracked down on the peaceful protests, the trucker protests.
Listen, that was one of the good things that he prevented, because that was not them. And I was a witness to seeing those was ripping Canada at that time, at that moment, and he prevented. Yes, they were not. Look, if we meant to be respect to Canadian rule and law. If anyone trying to break it down, that's why the rule and law is there to prevent it, and you call on policy to prevent any bad things happening. We saw that what happened in United States on the first term of the Trump. You guys see even coup happened. They were trying to kill senators. So that's kind of things prevented in Canada, and Canada was the target. So you know that the Trump 56 state that is calling where that was coming from. So that was not a small game that was playing with the Canada.
The new flock
There's too much to even bring up.
Was actually pro-convoy. She was a supporter of the Freedom Convoy. Do you think she's a good fit for the Liberal Party then?
Hey, listen. There is no evidence of that. There is no.
Yeah, on her social media she did, and there is picture of her over there with the truckers.
Well, Mr. Speaker, the Emergency Measures Act has been ruled unlawful by the courts twice. The Liberals violated the charter rights of Canadians by freezing their bank accounts when the threat of a national security threshold was never met. They've wasted millions of dollars of taxpayer money, and now they are appealing this court decision for a third time. With an affordability crisis and a jobs crisis, will the Liberals quit wasting taxpayer monies on something that the courts have ruled twice is unlawful?
Once again, another Liberal caught lying. Oh.
I don't think so. But that I completely refuse that. And no. But it is what it is. We will see it, and we will witness of lots of more to come. And as we see what happening in the United States right now, how the United States went down with all these same propaganda and same situation, but we are Canadian.
Mm-hmm. And what is the best thing so far that Mark Carney did since he's Prime Minister?
Mark Carney is not a long stretch time. One thing, but to answer your questions, Mark Carney prevent Canada from an extremely go downtime economic. I am
extremely go downtime economic
who go around all Europe and Asia and everything. The way you open the market to Canadian, to the manufacturing, this is an amazing. As a Canadian, again, I'm proud of my leader. I'm proud of my Prime Minister, what he done, and how now I get respect in our overseas as a Canadian because of Mark Carney. No one's know that over there that I'm a liberal person, but the way I get respond to them because of Mark Carney, that's what matters to me.
They're just wild statements here that he's getting respect overseas because of Mark Carney. Okay. There's a lot of the same comments in here like this. When did Poilievre ever have power to actually rule like a dictator? This is one of the dumbest responses to an interview here I've seen in a long time. And this idea that Poilievre now is a dictator, are they going to start pushing this on CBC and CTV now? This crap has to end.